Because when you come into this truth, you're supposed to come out of that stuff and start doing things you can read in the Bible. Now, we can't find Thanksgiving in the Bible, but they attribute that to Jesus. And if we can't find something that's attributed to Jesus in the Bible, then we have to look outside of the Bible to try to find it. And anytime you go outside of the Bible to try to find something that they attribute to Jesus that's in the Bible, the common denominator is paganism. And we're going to show you that Thanksgiving is no different. So you decide on what you're going to do once you get out of this lesson. We're going to get through it in a timely manner. We got a few references to cover. But let's get to the real Thanksgiving. Not the one that they're going to be doing this Thursday. But let's look at the handout. We're going to start in the handout. We're going to give you the sugar-coated version, because this is what they want you to, accept. And it's out the dictionary. A lot of this stuff, you can just look it up, man. It's in the dictionary. It's in the encyclopedia. Thanksgiving, what does it mean? Read that, man.
Thanksgiving, an act of giving thanks, an expression of gratitude, especially to God.
So Thanksgiving, an act of giving thanks, an expression of gratitude, especially to God. Now we got to figure out which God are we thanking on Thanksgiving Day. Is it the God of the Bible? The God of Israel that gave you a harvest festival to celebrate, or is it that other Jesus? What's the next thing highlighted?
An expression of thanks, especially to God. A public celebration in acknowledgement of a divine favor.
Divine favor. Remember what divine means. It's associated with God. But when it comes to this Thanksgiving Day, what God are you thanking? What God are you honoring on that day? What God are you serving on that day? It's real simple, man. Flip over to the next page. Thanksgiving Day. What does it say, man?
Thanksgiving Day, a day appointed for giving thanks for divine goodness.
A day appointed. Thanksgiving Day, right? The Lord gave us the Feast of Tabernacles. That's the day he appointed us to celebrate for his divine goodness. But this Thanksgiving Day is a day appointed giving thanks for divine goodness. Go ahead.
The fourth Thursday in November, observed as a legal holiday in the United States.
So this Thanksgiving Day is designated as the fourth Thursday in November and observed as a legal holiday in the United States. Go ahead.
The second Monday in October, observed as a legal holiday in Canada.
So now Canada, they observe it on the second Monday in October. But this is a Thanksgiving Day, right? United States, Canada, they pick a day. This is the day we're going to give thanks for divine goodness to God. But we have to ask the question, which God are you thanking? Now let's get to the other handout, and then we're going to get into this lesson. Because I got this off my favorite channel, the History Channel, that nobody watches but me. I'm surprised they still on TV, man. I'm the only one that watch them. Let's see what they say about Thanksgiving. What does it say, man?
Thanksgiving. In 1621, the Plymouth colonists and Wampanoag Indians shared an autumn harvest feast that is acknowledged today as one of the first Thanksgiving celebrations in the colonies.
Now that's what they tell you, but we know, if you look at the history on Thanksgiving that they show, they know that was garbage. But we've been fed that all our life. The Pilgrims and the Indians got together with some turkey and corn and all this other foolishness. But it didn't work out like that. But go ahead, keep reading.
For more than 2 centuries, days of Thanksgiving were celebrated by individual colonies and states. It wasn't until 1863, in the midst of the Civil War, that President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed the National Thanksgiving Day to be held each November.
So Abraham Lincoln, he the one that decided, hey, we're going to do this Thanksgiving Day in November. Read some more.
Thanksgiving at Plymouth. In September 1620, a small ship called the Mayflower left Plymouth, England, carrying 102 passengers, an assortment of religious separatists seeking a new home where they could freely practice their faith, and other individuals lured by the promise of prosperity and land ownership in the New World. After a treacherous and uncomfortable crossing that lasted 66 days, they dropped anchor near the tip of Cape Cod, far north of their intended destination at the mouth of the Hudson River. 1 month later, the Mayflower crossed Massachusetts Bay, where the Pilgrims, as they are now commonly known, began the work of establishing a village at Plymouth.
Go ahead.
In November 1621, after the Pilgrims' first corn harvest proved successful, Governor William Bradford organized a celebratory feast and invited a group of the fledgling colony's Native American allies, including the Wampanoag chief Massasoit, now remembered as America's first Thanksgiving. Although the Pilgrims themselves may not be used to the term at the time, the festival lasted for 3 days. While no record exists of the historic banquet's exact menu, the Pilgrim chronicler Edward Winslow wrote in his journal that Governor Bradford sent 4 men on a fowling mission in preparation for the event, and that the Wampanoag guests arrived bearing 5 deer. Historians have suggested that many of the dishes were likely prepared using traditional Native American spices and cooking methods. Because the Pilgrims had no oven and the Mayflower sugar supply had dwindled by the fall of 1621, the meal did not feature pies, cakes, or other desserts, which have become a hallmark of contemporary celebrations.
So, where did all this other stuff come from? The turkey and the dressing and all this, Where did all that come from? Flip over to the next page. This is a tradition, right? Go ahead. Thanksgiving tradition.
Thanksgiving traditions. In many American households, Thanksgiving celebration has lost much of its original religious significance.
It sure has.
Instead, it now centers on cooking and sharing a bountiful meal with family and friends. Turkey, a Thanksgiving staple so ubiquitous it has become all but synonymous with the holiday.
You don't see turkeys, man. They come out in abundance around this time. Where they at the rest of the year? They hiding. Go ahead.
May or may not have been on offer when the Pilgrims hosted the inaugural feast in 1621. Today, however, nearly 90% of Americans eat the bird, whether roasted, baked, or deep fried, on Thanksgiving, according to the National Turkey Federation. Other traditional foods include stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, and pumpkin pie. Volunteering is a common Thanksgiving Day activity, and communities often hold food drives and host free dinners for the less fortunate.
That's right. They be out there in droves feeding the homeless. Everybody doing their one good deed for the whole year. Feed the homeless on Thanksgiving. That seems the only time homeless is around on Thanksgiving, right? What about the rest of the year? Christmas too, right? They get them too. They get to eat good twice out of the year. But just like all the other man's traditions, they had their roots in paganism. Look at the Thanksgiving, ancient origins. They didn't just, we're gonna read it. I'm jumping ahead of the gun, man. Thanksgiving, ancient origins, what does it say?
Thanksgiving, ancient origins. Although the American concept of Thanksgiving developed in the colonies of New England, its roots can be traced back to the other side of the Atlantic. Both the separatists who came over on the Mayflower and the Puritans who arrived soon after brought with them a tradition of providential holidays, of fasting during difficult or pivotal moments, and days of feasting and celebration to thank God in the times of plenty. As an annual celebration of the harvest and its bounty, moreover, Thanksgiving falls under a category of festivals that spans cultures, continents, and millennia. In ancient times, the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans feasted and paid tribute to their gods after the fall harvest.
So, Egyptians, Greeks, Romans paid tribute to their harvest gods, because that's what they were paying tribute to, the god of the harvest, after the fall harvest. They was thanking the harvest god for having all these crops grow so we can eat. And they had a celebration, thanking their God. And now, when you come into this truth, you're scratching your head. Should I be doing Thanksgiving? Should I be doing Thanksgiving? Well, let's see. Let's get into the book. Go to Isaiah. Because when I was going to the Israel of God in the beginning, Thanksgiving was thrown under the bus right along with Christmas. But now there's been a change. And I asked the question, why should I go to your harvest festival if you don't want to come to mine? Or the God that I serve commanded us to keep. But let's look into the book, man. What I say, Isaiah? Isaiah 5. Let's read it. What it say? Verse 20.
Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
Wait a minute now. Let me back up, because I wanted to add something in there. Let's back up a little bit to Isaiah 5 and verse 11. Start at 11. Because we're dealing with this Thanksgiving day, right? A lot of eating, a lot of drinking, music. Go ahead. 5 and 11, what it say?
Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink that continue until night, till wine inflame them.
Now that's a serious drinker right there. He wake up drinking and pass out at the night because he's been drinking all day. What else?
And the harp and the viol and the tabret and pipe and wine are in their feast.
And the harp and the viol, the tabret and the pipe, all that music is in their feast, but what?
But they regard not the work of the Lord, neither consider the operation of his hands.
Now go to one of them things. I remember when I was doing Thanksgiving, didn't nobody care nothing about what the Lord was doing. All they want is, when is the food going to be ready so I can eat? But this is supposed to be a day set aside for divine goodness, right? You got ham and chitlins on the table. Everybody hold hands. What the Lord, thank the Lord. What did the Lord give you? Let's thank him. Go around the table, man. What else?
Therefore my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
Okay, skip down to 20.
Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
So this Thanksgiving day that's set aside for the other Jesus, and we know that other Jesus is none other than Satan, but they telling you it's good. People be flying all over the country, coming home to do this day. For what? Go ahead.
Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. Therefore, as the fire devoureth the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts, and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel.
So they've cast away the law of the Lord of hosts, and what's the law of the Lord? Keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Everybody that's keeping Thanksgiving, I guarantee you they didn't keep the Feast of Tabernacles. They weren't even thinking about the Feast of Tabernacles, because they've cast away the law of the Lord and are doing man's traditions, something he made up. Flip over to Isaiah 24 and read one verse. And the further you get away from God, the more turmoil and calamity that's in your life. And the world has gotten millions of miles away from God. And look at the situation of the world. 24 and 5, read it.
The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
So the earth is defiled, the inhabitants are defiled, because they've broken the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. they passing laws for you to break God's laws, and people are going for it. Like it's, because that's all they want is a pat on the back to do wrong. It's okay, God love you. Go ahead and sleep with that other man, God still love you. Please. Go to Psalm 106 and pick it up at verse 1. Psalm 106 and verse 1.
Praise you, the Lord.
Hold up, man. Okay, read.
Praise ye the Lord. O give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever.
So give thanks unto the Lord. We're talking about the Lord God of Israel here. Give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, and his mercy endureth forever. Go ahead.
Who can utter the mighty acts of the Lord? Who can show forth all his praise? Blessed are they that keep the commandment, and he that doeth righteousness at all times.
So blessed are they that keep the judgment, and he that doeth righteousness at all times. What else?
Remember me, O Lord, with the favor that thou bearest unto thy people. O visit me with thy salvation, that I may see the good of thy chosen, that I may rejoice in the gladness of thy nation, that I may glory with thine inheritance. We have sinned with our fathers. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly. Our fathers understood not thy wonders in Egypt. They remembered not the multitude of thy mercies, but provoked him at the sea, even at the Red Sea. Nevertheless, he saved them for his name's sake, that he might make his mighty power to be known.
And that's what they did, man. They wasn't but a couple months out of Egypt and already went backwards. He just gave them the 10 Commandments. Just gave it to them. And they out there making some golden calves. Skip down to 21 and read it.
They forgot God, their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt.
They forgot all that stuff the Lord did for them. Go ahead.
Wondrous works in the land of Ham, and terrible things by the Red Sea. Therefore he said that he would destroy them, had not Moses, his chosen, stood before him in the breach, to turn away his wrath, lest he should destroy them.
So Moses did some fast talking to the Lord, because the Lord said, Moses, get out of my way. I'm going to kill them all. Like the villages, right? Kill them all. Go ahead.
Yea, they despised the pleasant land. They believed not his word, but murmured in their tents and hearkened not unto the voice of the Lord. Therefore he lifted up his hand against them to overthrow them in the wilderness, to overthrow their seed also among the nations, and to scatter them in the lands. They joined themselves also unto Baal Peor, and ate the sacrifices of the dead.
So Israel was acting a plumb fool, worshiping anything and everything. And the Lord wanted to kill them, but he said, look, I'm going to overthrow your seed among the nations, and I'm going to scatter you into all the lands. Verse 34, go ahead.
They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them.
They did not. He told them, when you get in that land, kill them 7 nations, break down them idols, tear them churches down, but they didn't do it. What did they do? Go ahead.
But were mingled among the heathen.
They mingled with them.
And learned their works, and they served their idols.
Learn their works, which is learn how they worship, and they ended up getting caught up in that pagan worship, just like Israel is today. If they come up with a new religion, guess what? We're going to be knocking on the door. They got this thing called a flying spaghetti monster. It's a religion. Look it up. Look it up. I did. It's the flying spaghetti monster. It's a religion. And Israel is caught up in it. Go ahead.
And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons, of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan. And the land was polluted with blood. Thus they were defiled with their own works.
They were defiled by their own works and did what?
And went a-whoring with their own inventions.
And went a-whoring with their own inventions. They was just making up stuff. I seen that's a red rock over there. Let's worship that. Go to Leviticus 23. Leviticus 23, man. Let's look at some things. This is what the Lord commanded us to do. And something is wrong with us for doing this. The world thinks that. Your family members think that. Because they're going to be throwing down on Thanksgiving this Thursday. Especially if you got a big family. And I know some of y'all are still doing it out there. That's why we do this lesson every year, because it comes up every year, right? Just like Christmas come up every year. We got to shoot it down. Easter comes up every year. We got to shoot it down. And Thanksgiving too. It's got to go. 23:1, what does it say?
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
So these are the feasts of the Lord. Go ahead.
6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
Right on the top of the list is the Sabbath day. Go ahead.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover.
Passover, the Lord's Passover. Go ahead.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
So right after the Passover is the 15th day, and that's the feast of unleavened bread. What else?
In the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
The first day of the feast is a holy gathering. No servile work therein. Go ahead.
But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. In the seventh day is a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
So the feast of unleavened bread is 7 days. The first day is a Sabbath, and the 7th day is a Sabbath. Skip down to verse 15 and read it. We got to find this Thanksgiving, man, because these are the feasts of the Lord, right? Thanksgiving is a feast, ain't it? We got to find it up in here, man. What I say? 15? 15, what it say?
And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, seven Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord.
Now this is a harvest festival in the springtime. The Lord commanded us to keep, and it's called the Feast of Weeks or Pentecost. Skip down to 21. It's going to tell you what it is. Go ahead.
And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be a holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations.
Okay, so we got a harvest festival in the springtime. Let's get to the fall. Skip down to verse 23 and read it.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets.
So now what? You're in the 7th month now. This is the fall season. You're going to have a memorial of blowing of trumpets. Go ahead.
And holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Also on the 10th day of the 7th month there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And ye shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God.
So we got the 10th day of the 7th month, the Day of Atonement. And you ain't eating on this day. What else?
For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people.
So this is how serious the Lord is about this day. If he catch you even, well, he gonna kill you. Don't even dip your finger in the syrup bottle and try to eat something. He gonna kill you. Go ahead.
And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
Okay, skip down to 33. We got to be getting close to this Thanksgiving, man. 33, what it say?
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto the Lord. On the first day shall be an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no servile work therein.
So the 15th day of the 7th month, Feast of Tabernacles, the last 7 days. You're going to do an offering by fire made to the Lord. First day is a Sabbath. Go ahead.
These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon his day.
So these are the feasts of the Lord. We read Sabbath day, Passover, Pentecost, trumpets, atonement, tabernacles. Keep reading.
Beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your freewill offerings, which ye give unto the Lord. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath.
So now we got an 8th day, which is a Sabbath. What else? Go ahead.
And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days. And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month.
So these feasts of the Lord, we are rejoicing before the Lord our God. The days he commanded us to keep. What else?
Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths.
Now we coming to the end of this chapter, man, and these are the feasts of the Lord. Thanksgiving got to come up somewhere. Let's see. Go ahead.
That your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Lord.
You mean that's it? After tabernacles, that's it. Well, where does this Thanksgiving come from? Let's go to the handout. Because it's a holiday, right? Let's see where they derived holiday from. And this is out the dictionary. You can look it up. Holiday. That was a song, wasn't it? What's holiday? What's the meaning of it?
A holiday is a day set aside by custom or by law on which normal activities, especially business or work, including school, are suspended or reduced. Generally, holidays are intended to allow individuals to celebrate or commemorate an event or tradition of cultural or religious significance. Holidays may be designed by governments, religious institutions, or other groups or organizations. The degree to which normal activities are reduced by a holiday may depend on local laws, customs, the type of job held, or personal choices.
Now, all these man-made holidays, you know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, man, I want to work. I want to work all next week. But it costs them too much money for me to come to work. So they're going to tell me, you're going to stay home and we ain't going to pay you. Because I don't care nothing about Thanksgiving. I want to work. I don't care nothing about Christmas. I want to work. But they like, nah. But then they going, when I want to take the days off that the Lord commanded us to keep, now they give me all kind of flack over it. But hey, man, you still ain't going to pay me. What's the problem? But what else, man? Keep reading on that holiday, man.
The concept of holidays often originated in connection with religious observances. The intention of a holiday was typically to allow individuals to tend to religious duties associated with important dates on the calendar. In most modern societies, however, holidays serve as much of a recreational function as any other weekend or activities.
So they done took holiday, took the religious aspect out of it, and turned it into big fun. Eating and drinking and having a good time. But I thought it was to honor the God, right? What else?
In many societies, there are important distinctions between holidays designated by governments and holidays designated by religious institutions. For example, in many predominantly Christian nations, government-designed holidays may center on Christian holidays, though non-Christians may instead observe religious holidays associated with their faith. In some cases, a holiday may only be nominally observed. For example, many Jews in the Americas and Europe treat the relatively minor Jewish holiday of Hanukkah as a working holiday, changing very little of their daily routines for this day.
Now, this so-called Jew that do Hanukkah, that's supposed to be the Festival of Lights, or the Feast of Dedication is what they call it in the Bible. But they didn't change it, took it over and turned it into some Jew Christmas. But go ahead.
The word holiday has differing connotations in different regions. In the United States, the word is used exclusively to refer to the nationally, religiously, or culturally observed day or days of rest or celebration.
So that's what holiday is all about. But where did they get it from? Read what's highlighted.
Etymology. The word holiday comes from the Old English word holiday. The word originally referred only to special religious days.
Wait a minute, man. You missed a whole bunch of stuff. Read it one more time. Read it all.
All right. Etymology. The word holiday comes from the Old English word holiday. Holig, holy, plus deog, day.
So that's what it means. Holy day, holiday. They took the Y out and gave you the I to take the emphasis off it being holy. That's why it's a free-for-all on a holiday. You could care less about God. But when you say holy day, now you got to start thinking, this is a holy day. It must be some things I can do and things I can't do. And if it's holy, it must be honoring God. But holidays, they ain't honoring God. Go ahead.
The word originally referred only to special religious days.
Originally, it referred to only special religious days. That's why it was holy day. Holy is real religious. Go ahead.
In modern use, it means any special day of rest or relaxation.
In modern use, now it's holiday. It means what? Any special day of rest or relaxation. As opposed to what?
As opposed to normal days away from work or school.
So your rest and relaxation is you don't go to work and you don't go to school. That's a holiday. So they watered it down. They took holy out of it and made it holly. And just added day. But the Lord gave us holy days to keep. Go to Exodus 23. That's why when we speak of the Lord's high days, we don't say these are the Lord's holidays. We say these are the Lord's holy days. And they be like, what you mean? Exactly. You don't have a clue. Exodus, what I say? 23? 14, read it.
3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year.
3 times you're going to keep a feast to the Lord in a year. Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Is that what it say?
Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread.
Unleavened bread?
Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee, in the time appointed of the month of Abib, for in it thou camest out of Egypt. and none shall appear before me empty. And the feast of the harvest, the first fruits of thy labors which thou hast sown in the field.
The feast of the harvest, that's Pentecost. Go ahead.
And the feast of ingathering,
And the feast of ingathering, which is tabernacles. Go ahead.
which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field.
So those are the feasts that we commanded to keep. Unleavened bread, feast of the harvest, and the feast of ingathering. Not Easter, Thanksgiving, or Christmas. Go to Leviticus 7. See, when you got a Thanksgiving day, you got to figure out, what God are you thanking? Because I know when I was doing it, we'd go to Detroit, man. And my grandmama would have 30 pounds of chitlins on Thanksgiving. And me and my uncle would just tear them up, just me and him, on Thanksgiving. Now you tell me, what God condones eating chitlins unless it's that other Jesus, right? That say you can eat anything you want on Thanksgiving Day. And we was praying over that stuff too, man. It was, but anyway, enough of that. Leviticus 7:1. Let's look at some Thanksgiving, real Thanksgiving, right? Read it.
Likewise, this is the law of the trespass offering. It is most holy. In the place where they kill the burnt offering shall they kill the trespass offering, and the blood thereof shall he sprinkle round about upon the altar. And he shall offer of it all the fat thereof, the rump and the fat that covereth the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul that is above the liver, with the kidneys. It shall he take away.
Now this is the trespass offering, man. The priest about to eat good. Go ahead.
And the priest shall burn them upon the altar for an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a trespass offering. Every male among the priests shall eat thereof. It shall be eaten in the holy place. It is most holy. As the sin offering is, so is the trespass offering. There was one law for them. The priest that maketh atonement therewith shall have it. And the priest that offereth any man's burnt offering, even the priest shall have to himself the skin of the burnt offering which he had offered. And all the meat offering that is baken in the oven, and all that is dressed in the frying pan, and in the pan shall be the priest that offered it. And every meat offering mingled with oil and dry shall all the sons of Aaron have, one as much as another. And this is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings which he shall offer unto the Lord. If he offer it for a thanksgiving, then he shall offer with the sacrifice of thanksgiving unleavened cakes mingled with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil, and cakes mingled with oil, or fine flour fried.
So this is the peace offering, and it's offered with what? Thanksgiving. To who? The God of Israel. And these priests was eating good, man. They was baking some good stuff. They was even frying. Man, they had the frying pans out, right? With the grease. What else?
Besides the cakes, he shall offer for his offering leavened bread with the sacrifice of thanksgiving of his peace offerings. And of it he shall offer one out of the whole oblation for an heave offering unto the Lord, and it shall be the priest that sprinkleth the blood of the peace offerings. And the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offerings for thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day that it is offered. He shall not leave any of it until the morning.
So the flesh of the sacrifice of the peace offerings for what? Thanksgiving. Shall be eaten the same day, and you better eat it all. Don't leave nothing till the morning. Eat it all, because that's some good eating. Because it's top of the line, right? The Lord wants the best. And if the priests are sacrificing for Thanksgiving, the best, then they can partake of the best. Go to 2 Chronicles chapter 5. And we didn't see no turkey up in that Thanksgiving day, did we? The Lord wanted he lambs and bullocks. Like I say, ain't nothing wrong with a turkey, man. But there's something wrong with a turkey on Thanksgiving Day, all around your family. Because right next to that turkey is some ham and some chitlins. 2 Chronicles 5 and verse 1. 2 Chronicles 5 and 1. What does it say?
Thus all the work that Solomon made for the house of the Lord was finished. And Solomon brought in all the things that David his father had dedicated, and the silver, and the gold, and all the instruments put he among the treasures of the house of God.
So now this is a joyous occasion, right? The Lord's house was finished. So Solomon brought in all the things to put inside the temple. Go ahead.
Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel and all the heads of tribes, the chief of the fathers of the children of Israel, into Jerusalem to bring up the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of the city of David, which is in Zion.
So now they're bringing in the ark of the covenant. Go ahead.
Wherefore all the men of Israel assembled themselves unto the king in the feast, which was in the 7th month.
So they assembled themselves together with the king in the feast, which was in the 7th month. And this ain't Thanksgiving either. This is Tabernacles. Flip over to Ezra. Flip right over to Ezra, chapter 3. I know people take issue with this day, man. I think we can do it. We can't read it. You can't read nothing that man associates with God in the Bible. You can find it outside of the Bible. Yeah, we don't find Thanksgiving Day in the Bible, do we? Ain't nowhere in there. But it's a day set aside to thank God, ain't it? But what God are you thanking? That's the thing. Figure it out. And then you come to your own conclusions. Should I be doing this? Ezra 3 and 1, what does it say?
And when the 7th month was come, and the children of Israel were in the cities, the people gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem. Then stood up Jeshua the son of Jozadak, and his brethren the priests, and Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and builded the altar of the God of Israel, to offer burnt offerings thereon, as it is written in the law of Moses, the man of God.
So now we're in the 7th month, and what are they doing? They build an altar to who? The God of Israel, and offered burnt offerings to the God of Israel. Thanksgiving. Go ahead.
And they set the altar upon his basis, for fear was upon them because of the people of those countries. And they offered burnt offerings thereon unto the Lord, even burnt offerings morning and evening.
So they was offering burnt offerings from morning to evening, and what else?
They kept also the Feast of Tabernacles, as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number, according to the custom, as the duty of every day required.
And they kept the Feast of Tabernacles as it is written. That's what they keeping, something they can read. You can't read in the Bible on the 4th Thursday of the 9th month, which is November. It's the 9th month, ain't it? But it's the 11th month now. 4th Thursday, get you a turkey, whatever. You can't even read that, can you, man? Show me that in the Bible. Well, it ain't in there. Then why are you doing it? Go to John 7. And pick it up at verse 1. John 7 and 1. We way in the New Testament, huh? Let's see if they're keeping Thanksgiving in the New Testament. 7 and 1, what does it say?
After these things, Jesus walked in Galilee, for he would not walk in Jewry, because the Jews sought to kill him. Now the Jews' Feast of Tabernacles was at hand.
So they're keeping the Feast of Tabernacles. Go ahead.
His brethren therefore said unto him, Depart hence and go into Judea, that thy disciples also may see the works that thou doest. For there is no man that doeth anything in secret, and he himself seeketh to be known openly. If thou do these things, show thyself to the world. For neither did his brethren believe him.
So his brethren, they didn't believe him. They told him, Jesus, you doing all this stuff, man. Go on up there to the feast. Do some miracles. Go to Isaiah 66. But he had a comeback for him. He told him, look, it ain't my time to die yet, but your time is always. But then that's another lesson. Let's go to Isaiah 66. We're going to fast forward into the future, and let's see if we're going to be keeping these man-made traditions that they attribute to God. Isaiah 66, one verse, 22. Isaiah 66 and verse 22. Actually, I want 23. That's a typo. 23. Isaiah 66 and 23. What does it say?
And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another,
And it shall come to pass from Easter to Easter,
from one new moon to another,
from Thanksgiving to Thanksgiving.
from one new moon to another,
Okay.
and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord.
So from month to month, week to week, and all the yearly feasts, all flesh is going to come to worship before the Lord. And let's show you that in action. Zechariah 14. It's real simple. Read it and do it. Zechariah 14 and verse 1. What does it say?
Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished. And half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half on the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south.
So now this is Jesus coming back to take this world over. And his first stop is the Mount of Olives, because that was the last place his feet was when he left this earth. You can go to Acts chapter 1 and read that on your own. And when all that power hit that mountain, it's going to split. Go ahead.
And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach to Azal. Yea, ye shall flee like as ye fled before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee.
And he ain't coming by himself. The people that made the first resurrection are coming with him, and he bringing his holy angels too. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord, not day nor night. But it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. And it shall be in that day that living water shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be. And the Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one.
So now here's Jesus. He back on the earth. King Jesus. He going to be running the whole world from Jerusalem. Now let's see if King Jesus wants you to keep Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter. Skip down to 16 and read it.
And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
You mean we're going to be keeping the Feast of Tabernacles when King Jesus come back? Not, what, no Thanksgiving? Oh, man, no turkey? No ham? Chitlins? None of that? Tabernacles, huh? And what if you decide, hey, I'm going to do Thanksgiving? Forget that tabernacles. Go ahead.
And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain.
So if you don't want to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, you want to still do that Thanksgiving stuff, guess what? The Lord said there ain't going to be no rain on your crops. And if you don't get no rain on your crops, guess what? You don't grow no food. And if you ain't growing no food, that means you ain't going to be eating. And if you ain't ate all year, I guarantee you, you're going to be up there on the Feast of Tabernacles. Go ahead.
And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague, wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
So now why is the Lord so strong about punishing people if they don't keep the Feast of Tabernacles when he come back, but everybody can get a pass now? Well, we ain't got to do that now. We're going to wait till the Lord come back to do the Feast of Tabernacles. Now that don't make no sense. You mean Jesus came, died, resurrected, went back to the third heaven to tell you, hey, forget them feast days. Don't worry about them. Just wait till I come back, and we're going to be doing them then. But until then, go ahead and do Easter. Go ahead and do Christmas, and go ahead and do Thanksgiving. Don't worry about them holy days. You can't even read that in the book, man. But that's what they tell you. And let's look at these harvest festivals around the world. We almost done. Y'all don't have this. I couldn't give you everything. We're just going to read a few. Because every harvest festival that people celebrate in other nations got the name of their own God. Read what's in Mother Africa. See if they're doing tabernacles over there. What's the name of their God over there that they consider the harvest God? Go ahead.
List of harvest festivals. This is a list of harvest festivals around the world. A harvest festival is an annual celebration which occurs around the time of the main harvest of a given region. Given regional differences in climates and crops, harvest festivals can be found at various times throughout the world. In Africa, Ikor, celebrated by the Yoruba people in Nigeria. Nkwala, celebrated by the people of Swaziland. New Yam Festival, Awajai, celebrated by the Igbo of Nigeria. Umkoshi Wokweshwana, celebrated by the Zulu people of South Africa. In Asia, Chuseok, Korea. Dongmang, Korea. Mid-Autumn Festival, China. The 8th full moon according to the lunar calendar. Nainame Sai, Shinjo Sai, Honen Matsuri.
Well, you do that pretty good, man. Go ahead.
Sakumi, Japan. Tet Trung Tu, Vietnam.
Okay, that's good. Now, these are the name of pagan gods that they associate with the harvest festival. What about America? What that say?
Annual Harvest Festival, Prosser, Washington. 4th full weekend in September. Dozinki, New Prague, Minnesota. Traditional Czech Festival. Thanksgiving, Canada. 2nd Monday in October. Thanksgiving, United States. 4th Thursday in November.
Thanksgiving, that's what they call it, right? But who is it associated with? Jesus. Divine goodness, right? Go to the Middle East. I don't know how you get the middle. If it's a Middle East, it's got to be a left and a right east too. But go ahead, man. Yeah, the Middle East.
Middle East. Hasal Toi, Turkmenistan. Last Sunday in November. Miragan, Iran. Ancient Persia. 2nd October. Sukkot, Jewish harvest festival lasting 8 days in the autumn, in which time is spent in tabernacles or booths. Shavuot, Jewish harvest festival marking the wheat harvest in Israel.
So they call that's Pentecost to us. We can read it in the book. But they call it Shavuot. And they call the tabernacle Sukkot, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's enough. We could have read all of them, but I don't want to keep you here all day. And so let's go to 1 Kings. So if you don't want to keep what thus saith the Lord, then you got to make up some stuff. And whatever you make up, you got to have a God to go with it. And with that God that comes with the stuff you made up, you got to have a feast for him, right? Now let's go to 1 Kings 12. Because Solomon got old, started all them women, messed them up. He started building pagan temples for all those strange women he married. And the Lord got mad. He split the kingdom. First Kings 12 and 19, read it.
So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. And it came to pass when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only.
So the Lord split the kingdom. Jeroboam got 10 tribes, and Rehoboam got 2, Judah and Benjamin. Go ahead.
And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin and 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon.
So now Rehoboam got 180,000 soldiers, and he gonna go fight Jeroboam because he gonna bring the kingdom back together. Go ahead.
But the word of God came unto Shemaiah the man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearkened therefore to the word of the Lord, and returned to depart according to the word of the Lord.
So the Shemaiah came and told him, look, don't y'all go up there and fight your brother. This is coming from God. Y'all go back home. That's what he said, right? Okay. Read some more, man. What about Jeroboam now? Go ahead.
Then Jeroboam built Shechem in Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from thence and built Penuel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, Now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam king of Judah, and they shall kill me, and go again to Rehoboam king of Judah.
Now, Tabernacles is coming up, and we read in the scripture, Exodus, 3 times a year, all males must appear before the Lord, unleavened bread, Pentecost, and Tabernacles. Now, they were supposed to go down to Jerusalem to keep this feast. But he said, wait a minute now. If they go down there, they're going to join themselves back to Rehoboam, and they're going to kill me. So I got to come up with something else. Go ahead.
Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them,
Now, I don't know who told him to do that, but it say he took counsel, right? Yep. And somebody told him, make 2 calves of gold. Go ahead.
It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
It's too much for you to go down to Jerusalem. Look, you can worship these calves right here, man. You ain't got to make that trip. Go ahead.
And he said, one in Bethel, and the other put he in Dan. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan.
Oh, yeah, that's a sin. You're supposed to be down there in Jerusalem worshiping the God of Israel, not these calves over here. And what did they do? Go ahead.
And he made a house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi.
So he had to build this God, house this God in a place of worship. So he built high places and made priests of the lowest people, which were not the sons of Levi. Big no-no. 32, go ahead.
And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month.
So he got a feast in the 8th month. Go ahead.
On the 15th day of the month.
On the 15th day of the month. Go ahead.
Like unto the feast that is in Judah, and he offered upon the altar.
Just like the Feast of Tabernacles. You can't do what the Lord says, so I'm going to make something up and have some gods to go with it, and we're going to do that day. Go ahead.
So did he in Bethel, sacrificing unto calves that he had made. And he had placed in Bethel the priests of the high places which he had made. So he offered upon the altar which he had made in Bethel the 15th day of the 8th month, even in the month which he had devised of his own heart.
So he came up with this out of his own mind. He came up with his own high day, came up with his own priests, and came up with his own sacrifices. Go ahead.
And ordained a feast unto the children of Israel. And he offered upon the altar and burnt incense.
Okay. So we see what happens when you get outside the boundaries of the Lord's high days. You make up stuff, man. So let's look at the Harvest Festival. Harvest Festival. It's in the handout. Read all the way down. Stop right there. Go ahead.
Harvest Festival. A harvest festival is an annual celebration that occurs around the time of the main harvest of a given region. Given the differences in climate and crops around the world, harvest festivals can be found at various times at different places. Harvest festivals typically feature feasting, both family and public, with foods that are drawn from crops that come to maturity around the time of the festival.
Oh, yeah. Go
Ample
ahead.
food and freedom from the necessity to work in the fields are two central features of harvest festivals. Eating, merriment, contests, music, and romance are common features of harvest festivals around the world. In North America, Canada, and the U.S., each have their own Thanksgiving celebrations in October and November. In Britain, thanks have been given for successful harvest since pagan times. Harvest Festival is traditionally held on Sunday near or of the harvest moon. This is the full moon that occurs closest to the autumn equinox, 22 or 23rd of September. The celebrations on this day usually include singing hymns, praying, and decorating churches with baskets of fruit and food in the festival known as the Harvest Festival, Harvest Home, Harvest Thanksgiving, or Harvest Festival of Thanksgiving.
Now, who they praying to? It said a harvest festival traditionally held on Sunday, near or of the harvest moon. The celebrations on this day include singing hymns. Who you singing to? Who you praying to? And they decorating their church with what? Fruit baskets, food. Let's move on. I'm getting sick. Look at this. Y'all don't have this. We ain't gonna read all of them. I couldn't give it all to you. If you want it, it's right here. You can have it. I'll make another copy. This is a list of agricultural pagan gods. Read it, man.
List of agricultural deities. This is a list of agricultural gods and goddesses, gods whose tutelary specialty was agriculture, either of agriculture in general or of one or more specialties within the field. Each god's culture or religion or origin is listed. A god revered in multiple contexts are listed with the one in which he originated. Roman gods appear on a separate list.
Yeah, there's too many of them. They got to have a separate list for all the Roman gods. Just read a few of them. The Celtics, man, not the basketball team. What was the name of their harvest god?
Specific gods: Abellio, Celtic. Akan, Maya. Akros, Phoenish. Amathon, Celtic.
Okay. What else? Read on. The Greek god. What was his name?
Cronus, Greek.
Kronos, Greek. What about the Egyptian god? What was his name? Where is he at? I should have had him highlighted. Egyptian god, what's his name?
Neper, Egyptian.
No, it ain't. Read it again, man. You got it wrong. Egyptian.
Osiris, Egyptian.
Osiris was the Egyptian harvest god. Read about him. And then we're going to get back to the book. Go ahead.
Osiris, from Egyptian, Coptic, is the god of fertility, agriculture, the afterlife, the dead, resurrection, life, and vegetation in ancient Egypt religion.
So this dude had a bunch of titles. Go ahead.
He was classically depicted as a green-skinned deity with a pharaoh's beard, partially mummy-wrapped at the legs, wearing a distinctive Atef crown.
So they gave him green skin, mummy wraps, and a beard. Go ahead.
And holding a symbolic crook and flail. He was one of the first to be associated with the mummy wrap. When his brother Set cut him up into pieces.
Wait a minute, he had a brother? Boy, they just be making up everything, don't they? A green-skinned dude with a mummy wrap had a brother. And his brother cut him up. How you gonna cut something up that don't exist? But go ahead.
When his brother Set cut him up into pieces after killing him, Isis, his wife, found all the pieces and wrapped his body up, enabling him to return to life. Osiris was at times considered the eldest son of the earth god Geb and the sky goddess Nut, as well as being brother and husband of Isis, with Horus being considered his posthumously begotten son. In the Old Kingdom, 2686 to 2181 BC, the pharaoh was considered a son of the sun god Ra, who after his death ascended to join Ra in the sky.
Okay, that's good, man. This is getting crazy now. Let's get back to the book. Get back to some sanity. Go to Matthew 5. Matthew 5. But you got people that actually believe this stuff, man. They believe it. Matthew 5 and pick it up at verse 17. Let's see what the master say. What did he say?
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Are the feasts of the Lord a law? Yes, they are. Jesus said, I didn't come to destroy that. I didn't come to destroy what I gave to you in the beginning just so you could celebrate some paganism. Go ahead.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
So heaven and earth got to be destroyed. And the last time I looked, it's still out there. So that means the law is still good, right? That means the feast days are still good. Go ahead.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
So if you're teaching somebody to break the commandments, you have a permanent residency in the lake of fire. We finished that? Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 33. Well, this is the only time I can see my family is on Thanksgiving. All of them going to be there but me. I really want to go. Maybe I could plant some seeds. Man, they ain't trying to hear nothing you got to say on Thanksgiving. You come up in there with that God of Israel stuff, they're going to put you out. They're going to give you a plate to go. Ezekiel 30 and verse 30. Read it. 33 and 30. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Also, thou son of man, the children of thy people are still talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, everyone to his brother, saying, Come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh forth from the Lord.
So now the Lord is telling Ezekiel, look, the children of the people, they talking about you, man. But at the same time, they talking about you behind your back. They saying, Ezekiel, man, what did the Lord say? I really want to hear it. Go ahead.
And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness.
So you tell them what they need to do, but they ain't going to do it. Because all they doing is giving you lip service. With mouth, they show much love, but their heart is going after lust. Go ahead.
And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument. For they hear thy words, but they do them not.
They hear your words, but they ain't going to do them. They'll entertain you. They'll tolerate you. You know, well, really? The Lord's feast day is tabernacles? Wow, where'd you get that from? Out the Bible? Wow. Get out of my face. They ain't trying to hear that. They act like they want to hear it, but they ain't going to do it. Go to 2 Timothy 4. 2 Timothy 4 and pick it up at verse 1. What it say, man?
I charge thee therefore before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word.
Preach the word.
Be instant in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine.
That's right, and that time is now. They don't want to hear no sound doctrine. Go ahead.
But after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves. But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables.
That's right, and fables are nothing but lies. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Nobody. Go to 1 Corinthians. Finish up 5. Go ahead.
But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make foolproof thy ministry.
So you got to keep your eyes open and expect to get beat down, because you're going to get it. You're going to get afflicted. But you got to stand girded. 1 Corinthians 10. And this is what I tell people, because they're just looking for the okay to do Thanksgiving, to go over there. That's all they're looking for. (10 and 20), what it say? 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 20. What they doing over there, Thanksgiving Day? Go ahead.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God.
Wait a minute, they ain't not all that good food and all that joyous stuff. That's a sacrifice to the devil? Go ahead.
And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
You cannot do tabernacles and then go to some Thanksgiving Day celebration. It don't work like that. You're either going to do one or the other. If you do one that's right, praise the Lord. You do the wrong one, you're going to the lake of fire. You do both of them, you're going to the lake of fire. So pick one. Isn't that what the Lord said? I set before you a blessing and a curse, life and death. Choose life. And what's life? The commandments. Tabernacles, Pentecost, Passover, unleavened bread, atonement, trumpets, all that good stuff. We finished that? Read some more, man.
Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he?
Okay, flip back to chapter 8. Flip back to chapter 8. Because we know, it's like, you go over there. Ain't nothing wrong with that turkey, is it, man? That's some good turkey, right? It's just a turkey. It's a big chicken to me. But let's read this, man. 8:1, what it say?
Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth. And if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing, yet as he ought to know. But if any man love God, the same is known of him. As concerning therefore the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none after God but one.
So we're talking about eating stuff sacrificed to an idol. And like I say, with all these man-made tradition holidays that are outside of what thus saith the Lord, they come with another God. We just read some of them, but we know this Thanksgiving God, they put the name Jesus on it. But we know it's that other Jesus who is Satan in disguise. That's all it is. So now, you're going to a Thanksgiving Day festival, eating all that food that they cooking, sacrificed to an idol. Go ahead.
For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many. But to us there is but one God, the Father of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Lord Jesus Christ, by whom all things, and we by him. Howbeit there is not in every man that knowledge. For some with conscience of the idol unto his hour eat it as a thing offered unto an idol, and their conscience being weak is defiled. But meat commendeth us not to God. For neither if we eat are we the better, neither if we eat not are we the worse.
So howbeit this knowledge is not in everybody. For some with the conscience of this, to this day, they eating stuff that's offered to an idol, having a weak conscience, not knowing. But once you come into the knowledge, that's when you step back from the table. That's when you stop going over there. But whether we eat or whether we don't eat, we ain't no worse. Because we know an idol is nothing, and that food is nothing. Because we got the strong mind. But you ain't going, after you done beat Christmas down to them, and now you going to go over there and eat the food. Oh, this Christmas ain't nothing. This food is just regular food to me. You stay away. Stay away. Let them have that stuff. Even them potlucks at work. Don't even participate in that stuff. But read some more. We got to get through this lesson. Go ahead.
But take heed, lest by any means this liberty of ours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
So don't be a stumbling block to them that are weak. In other words, hey, if you're beating Christmas down, beat it down, don't participate. Because if you show up, now they're going to be scratching their head. Wait a minute, man. You told me this stuff is garbage. Yeah, I know it's garbage, but I'm hungry. And this is some good food right here. Now you're becoming a stumbling block to them. Because if they see in their mind, if you telling them it's garbage and you sitting up there eating, well, it must be okay to eat it. So you just stay away from all them parties. Go ahead.
For if any man see thee which has knowledge sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols? And through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish for whom Christ died? But when ye sin so against the brethren, and wound their weak conscience, ye sin against Christ. Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no flesh while the world standeth, lest I make my brother to offend.
So you got to be careful what you participate in if you beating it down to your coworkers or your family members. That's why I don't do Thanksgiving. First of all, it's garbage. And I'm not going to go to no Thanksgiving celebration and tell them it's garbage. Because they already know I done told you it's garbage. I ain't showing up. And I ain't showing up the next day either. But this is what the book says. Be careful. You don't want to be a stumbling block to your brother. Go to 1 Peter chapter 3. 1 Peter chapter 3. And pick it up at verse 14. 1 Peter 3 and 14. What does it say, man?
But, and if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye. And be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled.
So if you suffer for righteousness' sake, you're supposed to be happy. Yeah, you know they talking about you. They're going to be talking about you crazy on Thursday because you ain't there. Well, too bad. You just deal with it. There, get over it. What else?
But sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear, having a good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you as of evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation in Christ.
So they're talking about you because you're doing good. And other people hear it. And they scratching their head. What are they doing that's so wrong? And then they'll call you up and ask you, you know, they was talking about you. And I don't understand why. And then you end up telling them why. And you end up reading it to them why. And next thing you know, they're calling you every week. What does the Bible say about this? What's the Bible say about that? We finished that? Read some more, man.
For it is better if the will of God be so that you suffer for well-doing than for evil-doing.
That's right. Suffer for good. Go to Titus chapter 1. So yeah, this day is coming up, man. This dude at work already asked me. I'm like, man, I don't even do it. You don't? Why not? Nah, he done opened up the floodgates now. Titus 1, read verse 10. Go ahead.
For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision.
Okay, skip down to 13.
This witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith, not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled.
So don't give heed to Jewish fables or the commandments of men that do what? Turn men from the truth. And that's what these traditions are. Don't they turn you from the truth? They tell you Jesus was born on December 25th, right? That's a lie. But people going for it. Happy birthday, Jesus, on this dude's window and lights. Man, please. Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. Keep reading, man.
They profess that they know God,
Don't they?
but in their works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate.
They profess they know God. I know Jesus. I know Jesus. Well, let me see your actions. See if you know him. Let's move on. Let's go to the handout. It's got Thanksgiving on the front. Should be the second to the last page. Only thing about this is y'all got the first page. I couldn't give it all to you. Thanksgiving. This is out the Collins Discovery Encyclopedia. What are the origins?
Thanksgiving, type of holiday, historic, national. Date of observation, fourth Thursday in November, United States. Second Monday in October, Canada. Where celebrated, Canada, United States. Symbols and customs.
Symbols and customs. What is it?
Corn dolly,
Corn dolly,
cornucopia,
cornucopia,
Indian corn,
Indian corn.
parades,
Parades.
pilgrims, Plymouth Rock, turkey.
Turkey.
Colors, the colors of the autumn harvest, orange, brown, and gold.
Wait a minute. Orange and brown. Oh, man. Go ahead, man.
Can be seen in Thanksgiving decorations and table settings. Because it is not strictly a religious festival, there are no lethargical colors associated with the day. Related holidays.
That's good. Go to the origins.
Origins. Thanksgiving is a national holiday in the United States. National holidays can be defined as those commemorations that a nation's government has deemed important enough to warrant inclusion in the list of official public holidays. They tend to honor a person or event that has been critical in the development of the nation and its identity. Such people and events usually reflect values and traditions shared by a large portion of the citizenry. In the United States, patriotism and identity were nurtured from the beginning of the nation by the very act of celebrating new events and holidays like the 4th of July, battle anniversaries, and other notable occasions. This was even more important in the country's early years because the nation was composed of people from a variety of backgrounds and traditions. The invention of traditions and the marking of important occasions in the life of the new nation were crucial in creating a shared bond of tradition and a sense of common belonging to a relatively new homeland through the shared experience of celebrating common holidays.
So the invention of traditions. Remember, they're making this stuff up. Skip down in this paragraph, the last paragraph. Read that.
The autumn harvest has always been a cause for celebration. The ancient Greeks honored Demeter, their corn goddess.
The ancient Greeks honored Demeter, the corn goddess, a goddess of corn. Go ahead.
At the annual festival known as the Desmophoria in October, when the seeds for the next year's crops were about to be planted. The Romans had their Cerealia, which held each year on October 4th in honor of the grain goddess Ceres.
The grain goddess, Ceres. That's where you get cereal from. You know them corn flakes? Grain goddess. Go ahead.
They offered her the first fruits of the harvest and paraded through the field, participating in games and sports and sharing huge Thanksgiving feasts.
Just like today, right? Just like today. This Thanksgiving Day is a mirror image of the same thing they did in honoring these pagan gods. Sports, eating, drinking. Go ahead.
The Jews observed Sukkot, or the Feast of Tabernacles, in the autumn as well.
Now let me tell me where the Lord said do this. We can read where he said dwell in booths. Look what they doing. This is the so-called Jew. Go ahead.
They hung the walls of the small huts built for this festival with apples, grapes, corn, pomegranates, and other fruits and vegetables.
When did the Lord tell you to hang some fruits and vegetables from the booths that you're supposed to dwell in for 7 days? We didn't read that. Go ahead.
Both the North American and South American Indians celebrated the harvest as well.
And we're going to read some of the stuff that they did during these harvest festivals. Go ahead.
All of these early Thanksgiving ceremonies were social as well as religious occasions, providing those who work in the fields those whose work in the fields was completed with an opportunity to sing, dance, feast, and play games.
Okay. Let's get to the next. Y'all don't have this. Don't turn over just yet. Just hold tight. Read that. It's all in the same thing. Y'all just don't have it. Go ahead.
Most Americans, however, think of the first official Thanksgiving as being the one that took place at Plymouth Colony in October 1621, a year after the Pilgrims first landed on the New England coast. They were joined in their three-day feast by Massasoit, the chief of the Wampanoag tribe, and about 90 of his fellow tribesmen. Only 50 of the original 100 pilgrims had survived the first winter, and those who did owed their survival to the Indians. The feast they shared with them in 1621 was primarily a harvest celebration rather than a religious one.
Okay, skip down to the other part that's highlighted.
The Pilgrims' Thanksgiving can be traced back to the English Harvest Home Festival and Dutch Thanksgiving traditions, which some pilgrims learned about during the 10 years they spent in the city of Leyden before coming to America. Today, Thanksgiving is a time for family reunions, most of which center around the preparation of an elaborate meal featuring turkey and a dozen or so accompanying dishes. Although some people go to the special church services on Thanksgiving Day, far more line the streets to watch parades or sit in front of the television watching football games.
That's right. Go ahead.
In many American cities and towns, the day after Thanksgiving marks the official start of the Christmas shopping season.
So once you get done with one pagan day, it ushers in the next one. Now let's get to some of the stuff that the customs. What do we read? That corn dolly, right? What is that corn dolly? What's all that about?
Symbols and customs. Corn dolly. Many rituals were associated with the cutting of the last sheaf of corn at the harvest. At one time, people believed that the corn spirit or corn goddess ran from plant to plant just ahead of the advancing sickles. Sometimes farmers caught the corn spirit by making the last sheaf into a doll, who was believed to possess magical powers. The corn doll was then decorated with ribbons and crowned with a wreath of flowers and hung up on the farmhouse wall until it was time to plow for the next year's crops.
Okay, that's good. What about the cornucopia, or copia, whatever it is?
Cornucopia, also known as the Horn of Plenty.
The Horn of Plenty. Everybody's seen that symbol, right? Go ahead.
The cornucopia is not only a harvest symbol, but a symbol of early America, with its seemingly endless supply of game and produce. In ancient Rome, a goat's horn overflowing with fruit and other foods was an attribute of both Flora, the goddess of flowers, and Fortuna, the goddess of fortune.
So this Horn of Plenty originated in Rome with a goat's horn attributed to Flora, the goddess of flowers, and Fortuna, the goddess of fortune. What about the Greeks? Go ahead.
In Greece, it was associated with Amalthea, a nymph in the form of a goat who nursed the infant Zeus in a cave on the island of Crete. According to legend, Amalthea broke off one of her horns and, filling it with fruits and flowers, gave it to Zeus to show his gratitude.
Okay, that's good. So they just be making up stuff, man. What about the parade? Why have a parade on Thanksgiving Day? There's a reason why. It ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. Go ahead.
Parades. In ancient Greece and Rome, harvest celebrations often included farm wagons decorated with sheaves of grain. Today, many Americans celebrate Thanksgiving with parades featuring floats reminiscent of these early harvest wagons. In fact, some scholars see the harvest queens who ride in modern-day Thanksgiving parades as the descendants of pagan corn goddesses. The oldest Thanksgiving Day parade, which dates back to 1920, is the one held by Gimbel's Department Store in Philadelphia. Macy's Department Store in New York held its first parade in 1924. Today, the Macy's parade features characters from storybooks, movies, television, and Toyland. In recent years, it has attracted more than 3 million spectators, while another 60 million Americans have watched it on television.
Okay, that's good. A parade. Ancient Greece and Rome with the pagan corn goddess, right? Okay, let's get to the book now. Go to 2 Kings 17. We almost done. We're going to get out of here on time. Yeah. 2 Kings 17. What the parade got to do with Jesus? What's a corn dolly got to do with Jesus? Or cornucopia, horn of plenty, what that got to do with Jesus? 2 Kings 17 and 24. Read it, man. What you waiting on? Read it.
And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cutha and from Ava and from Hamath and from Sepharvaim and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel.
So now, king of Assyria took out the 9 tribes. Go ahead.
And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them.
So that's what the Assyrians do. They will remove you and replace you with somebody else. So that's what they did with the 9 tribes. Took them out and brought in all these other nations. And they wasn't fearing the Lord, so the Lord sent them lions in there to kill them. Go ahead.
Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he has sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land.
So they had some sense. They knew why them lions was killing them. So they was like, hey man, Mr. King, we don't know this God. These lions is eating us up. We need to figure something out. Go ahead.
Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests whom he brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of the God of the land.
So get one of them Levites so they can teach the people how to serve the God of this land. Go ahead.
Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Lord. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Succoth Benoth, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima.
So he taught them how to serve the Lord, but that lasted about a hot second. They went back to serving their own pagan gods. Go ahead.
And the Levites made Nibhaz and Tartak. And the Sepharvites burnt their children in the fire to Adremelech and Anamelech, the gods of Sepharvaim. So they feared the Lord, and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. They feared the Lord, and served their own gods, after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence. Unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not the Lord, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law and commandment which the Lord commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel.
So even unto this day, don't nobody fear the Lord. Everybody walking after their own imagination. And it's coming up too, man. People getting all deep into it. Go ahead.
With whom the Lord had made a covenant, and charged them, saying, ye shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. But the Lord, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and a stretched arm, him shall ye fear, and him shall ye worship, and to him shall ye do sacrifice.
That's right. You sacrifice to the Lord. Go ahead.
And the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandment which he wrote for you, ye shall observe to do forevermore, and ye shall not fear other gods.
And you keep the commandments, and you do them for whatevermore, and you don't fear them other gods. Go ahead.
And the covenant that I have made with you, ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other gods. But the Lord your God ye shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies.
So you fear the Lord, and he going to deliver you. But did they listen? Go ahead.
Howbeit they did not hearken, but they did after their former manner. So these nations feared the Lord and served their graven images, both their children and their children's children. As did their fathers, so do they unto this day.
That's right, and they doing it to this day. Them, they kids, kids. Somebody got to break the cycle. Colossians 2. We all know how it is. Everybody that's up in here used to do Christmas. You was raised to do Christmas. And now you don't do it no more. And if you got some kids, you teach them not to do it. I still ain't got the phone call from my daughter's principal. I'm still waiting. It's coming. Well, it's too late now because once you beyond 15 and 16, you don't believe in Santa Claus no more. I was waiting for the phone call in elementary school, but I never got it. But anyway, Colossians 2 and 8. What did Paul say to these Colossians? Go ahead.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy or vain deceit.
Beware, that's a warning, right? Lest any man spoil you, mess your mind up through philosophy and vain deceit. Go ahead.
After the tradition of men.
After the tradition of men.
After the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
And that's what they're trying to do. They're messing you up, man, with these traditions of men. Thanksgiving is a tradition of men. Guaranteed. We just read it, didn't we? Bunch of times. Ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. Divine goodness, right? Skip down to 20 and read it.
Wherefore, if ye be dead with Christ from the rudiments of the world, why, as though living in the world, are ye subject to ordinances?
So if you knew, coming to the knowledge of the truth, and you know that you're supposed to be keeping tabernacle, why are you at the Thanksgiving dinner? Why? Go ahead, man.
Touch not, taste not, handle not, which all are to perish with the using, after the commandments and doctrines of men.
That's right. Don't touch it. Don't taste it. Don't even handle it. Because they're going down, and everybody that's participating in going down with it. Go to Mark 7. It's all a tradition of men. It don't come from the God of Israel. Now, you do what you want to do. It don't make me no difference. Whatever you decide is between you and the Lord. But if you still want to do it after you see all this information about this day, I'll tell you like my mama tell me, I don't know what to tell you. Where we at? Mark 7, verse 1. What it say?
Then came together unto him the Pharisees and certain of the scribes which came from Jerusalem. And when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashen hands, they found fault.
So now this is the tradition the Pharisees had. It was a hand-washing tradition. Go ahead.
For the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands off, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders.
So if you didn't, they thought if you didn't wash your hands, before you ate, you messed up the food, which means that messed you up. This should be a common practice, but not some kind of tradition, because if you don't wash your hands, you're nasty, right? But go ahead.
And when they come from the market, except they wash, they eat not. And many other things there be which they have received to hold, as the washing of cups and pots, brazen vessels, and of tables. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, Why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashen hands? He answered and said unto them, Well hath Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, This people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
That's right.
Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
Teaching for doctrine the commandments of men. It was a hand-washing doctrine. That's all it was. And they said, if you didn't wash your hands like this, you are defiled because your food is defiled. And you can't even read that. Go ahead.
For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things ye do. And he said unto them, Full well ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may keep your own tradition.
And that's what they're doing, right? They rejecting tabernacles so they can do what? Thanksgiving Day. Could care less about tabernacles. It's all about Thanksgiving. Now let's get to the last place. Last place in the handout. And it's out of my favorite book, which I forgot to get. It's over there on that bookshelf. It's over there on that bookshelf. It's called American Celebrations. It's at the top. There it is right there. You got your hand on it. I like this book. It's by Hallmark. The people you buy your cards from, they know all about Thanksgiving Day. What it say, man? Here, read it out of this. Thanksgiving Day. Look at that picture on there. Look at that. That's all about Jesus, ain't it? You got an Indian, a woman with a sickle in her hand, the sun and the moon and the stars up there. What that got to do with Jesus? What it say, man?
The Pilgrims who in 1621 observed our initial Thanksgiving holiday were not a people especially enthusiastic about the celebration of festivals. In fact, these estuary and religious settlers of America would have been dismayed had they known of the long and popular history of harvest festivals.
So the Pilgrims didn't initially, they was like, man, forget this stuff, man. And especially if they'd known the long and dismayed history of what harvest festivals really mean. We read some of that stuff, man. Corn goddess, grain goddess, corn flakes. Go ahead, man.
Of which their Thanksgiving was only the latest. It seems that whenever man has tilled the soil and urged his crops into fruition, he has paid homage to the heavenly being who has permitted him such good fortune. And he has taken care by means of sacrifices to ensure the continued benefits of the supreme power. The harvest festival, with its attendant rites, seem to have spread out from a relatively small area of land, from Egypt and Syria and Mesopotamia. The first or the last sheaf of wheat was offered to the Great Mother.
Great Mama, go ahead.
Or the Mother of Wheat.
Wheat Mama, go ahead.
For the earth power was essentially a feminine force.
Mother Earth, Mother Nature, Mother Earth, it's all paganism. Go ahead.
Astarte was the earth mother of the ancient Semites. To the Phrygians, she was Semele. Under the name of Demeter, she was worshipped by the Greeks at the famous Eleusinian mysteries. Creeds and Roman goddesses of corn presided over the October Cerealia. The Jews celebrate two harvest festivals, Shavuot, the Feast of Weeks in the spring, and Sukkot, the Feast of Booths, which is in the fall.
Pentecost and Tabernacle, stuff we can read out of the Bible how to keep. The rest of this stuff, they just making it up as they go along. Go ahead.
In medieval times, Germany, France, Holland, England, and the countries of Central Europe observed the feast of St. Martin of Tours, Martinmas, on November 11th as the time of harvest rejoicings. In our own hemisphere, among the Aztecs of Mexico, the harvest took on a grimmer aspect. Each year, a young girl, a representation of Xilonin, the goddess of the new corn, was beheaded.
Wait a minute now. Each year, some girl that looked like the goddess of the new corn, not the old corn, the goddess of the new corn, right? Had her head chopped off. Go ahead.
The Pawnees also sacrificed a girl.
The Pawnee Indians, they also sacrificed the girl. I don't see no Israelite claiming that tribe, huh? I'm Pawnee. It's either always Cherokee, right? But the Pawnees killed a girl too. Go ahead.
In a more temperate mood, the Cherokees of the American Southeast danced the green corn dance and began the new year at Harvest End.
Oh, that's why they claimed Cherokee, right? Because they was dancing. They didn't kill nobody. Anybody in here know the green corn dance? How you do that? Lean with it? I don't know. But go ahead, man.
English fishermen in the Newfoundland in 1578 had a Thanksgiving Day, and along the coast of Maine in 1607, the Popham colony set aside a day for giving thanks. Nevertheless, our present American November Thanksgiving finds its direct origin in the Pilgrim Fathers of Plymouth, Massachusetts, who indeed almost did not come to America.
Okay, that's good. So let's get back to the book. Let's go to Joshua. So y'all know where Thanksgiving came from, man. Stop playing games. I want to see my family. Really? Not that bad. Joshua 24:14, what it say?
Now therefore fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in truth.
That's right, fear the Lord. Serve him in truth, sincerity.
And put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord.
Put away them pagan gods. Get rid of Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. Serve the Lord. Go ahead.
And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve.
And if you can't handle the affliction from serving the God of Israel, because you will be afflicted, that's what the books say. If you can't handle it, throw the towel in. Go ahead.
Whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
That's right. Psalm 95. And we got one more place. And if we hadn't started late, we would have finished on time. But that's all right. Psalm 95 and verse 1. Psalm 95. Wait a minute, let me get there. Okay, read.
O come, let us sing unto the Lord.
Sing unto the Lord. Go ahead.
Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving.
Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving.
And make a joyful noise unto him with songs. For the Lord is a great God, and a great King above all gods.
The Lord is a great God, King above all gods. Go ahead.
In his hand are the deep places of the earth. The strength of the hills is his also. The sea is his, and he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker.
Now that's what you do, man. That's the God of Israel. 1 Chronicles 16. You can play around with Thanksgiving if you want to. First Chronicles 16. And pick it up at verse 1. First Chronicles 16 and verse 1. What does it say?
So they brought the ark of God and set it in the midst of the tent that David had pitched for it. And they offered burnt sacrifices and peace offerings before God. And when David had made an end of offering the burnt offerings and the peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of the Lord.
So now the ark is back. David blessed the people in the name of the Lord after they did their sacrifices. Remember, the peace offerings are thanksgivings. Skip down to verse 7 and read it.
Then on that day, David delivered first this psalm to thank the Lord into the hand of Asaph and his brethren. Give thanks unto the Lord, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people. Sing unto him, sing psalms unto him. Talk ye of all his wondrous works. Glory ye in his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice that seek the Lord. Seek the Lord in his strength. Seek his face continually. Remember his marvelous works that he hath done, his wonders, and the judgments of his mouth.
So now remember, this is a psalm of thanksgiving that David is honoring the Lord with. Glory ye in his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice that seek the Lord. Go ahead.
O ye seed of Israel, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen ones. He is the Lord our God. His judgments are in all the earth.
He is the Lord our God. His judgment knowledge. Skip down to 23 and read it, man.
Sing unto the Lord all the earth. Show forth from day to day his salvation. Declare his glory among the heathen, his marvelous works among all nations. For great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. He also is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the people are idols, but the Lord made the heavens.
So all the gods of the people are what? Idols. We read some of them. All them idols got names, and they got a nice little story to go with them. What is that Osiris dude? His brother cut him into pieces after he killed him. What is that? You got Ceres, the corn lady, or the corn goddess. She got a story too. But the books say all the gods of the people are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. Go ahead.
Glory and honor are in his presence. Strength and gladness are in his place. Give unto the Lord, ye kindreds of the people. Give unto the Lord glory and strength. Give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name. Bring an offering and come before him. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. Fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved. Let the heavens be glad, and let the earth rejoice. And let every man say among the nations, the Lord reigneth.
And they're going to do that. When the Lord come back, what the book say, every knee going to bow, and they going to confess that Jesus is the Lord. Everybody. Go ahead.
Let the sea roar, and the fullness thereof. Let the fields rejoice, and all that is therein. Then shall the trees of the woods sing out at the presence of the Lord, because he cometh to judge the earth.
Well, when the Lord come back, the trees going to be singing. I ain't never heard no trees sing in my life. But they going to be singing when the Lord come back. Go ahead.
O give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. And ye say, save us, O God of our salvation, and gather us together, and deliver us from the heathen, that we may give thanks to thy holy name, and glory in thy praise.
That's right. Give thanks to the Lord. Not Thanksgiving Day, but thanks unto the Lord, that we may give thanks to thy holy name and glory in thy praise. And what else?
Blessed be the Lord God of Israel forever and ever.
Blessed be the Lord God of Israel forever and ever. Go
And
ahead.
all the people said, amen, and praised the Lord.
And all the people said, so be it, and praise the Lord. So I hope you got some understanding in Jesus' name.
We welcome you and hope today's lesson increased your knowledge of the Holy Bible. CDs and DVDs of the Sabbath lessons are available. Please place your order and donation in an offering envelope, and it will be filled on the next Sabbath. The children's classes ages 3 through 5 and 6 through 12 starts at the same time as the adult Sabbath lesson in the assigned location. Bring your child so that their knowledge may be increased. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6. Adult question and answers from 4:30 to 6:30 after the Sabbath lesson. Team forum every other Sabbath at 4:30. We have question and answer every Wednesday at 5 p.m. via telephone conference line. The number and access code are located at the top of the lesson. Or see the live stream of question and answer at www.thykingdomcome7.com. If you are interested in being baptized, please place your name on the list at the literature table. Remember to follow the dress code when attending our services. Men should remove all hats and all head coverings during service time. Shorts are not permissible. Women should wear a head covering, such as a hat or scarf during the service. Women should not wear tight-fitting pants or skirts or revealing clothing. Attire should be modest according to the Bible. If your child becomes restless during the Bible lesson, we encourage you to remove your child from the room until he or she is settled. Your tithes and offerings are always appreciated. Please place your tithes and offerings in the offering envelope and deposit it in the offering box. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. Again, thank you for coming, and we hope to see you on the next Sabbath. Peace.
Peace. Okay, just a couple of announcements. The new fee schedule is out. It's in the back, along with the employer excusal form that you can give to your employer so you can get those days off. And the homeless menu, okay, they're going to be going out on December the 5th, and the items needed by November 27th. These are the items that they need. Now, we feed the homeless all year round, so it just so happens they're going to be eating good around this time, but we're going to feed them the same thing. So the items needed, a whole 20-pound turkey. Good googly moogly, a whole 20-pound turkey, boy. Frozen green beans, a 5-pound bag. Cans of cream of celery soup. Shredded cheese, 5-pound bag. And if you're a baker, 3 to 4 dozen cookies. So those are the items needed so they can go out on December 25th to feed the homeless. What am I saying? Did I say December 25th? December 5th to feed the homeless. So the items needed by November 27th is a 20-pound turkey, 5-pound bag of green beans frozen, some cans of cream of celery soup, shredded cheese, 5-pound bag, and 3 to 4 dozen of cookies. So they can go out and feed the homeless. December the 5th to feed the homeless. Okay. Anything else? Turn the fans off? Other than that, keep everybody in prayer like always, because, you know, they're turning the heat up on us who don't want to get this shot. So you got to have that faith in the Lord, because if you ain't sick, what you need it for? But keep everybody in prayer like always. Pray for moms. If she get better, and anybody else that needs prayer, keep them in mind as well. And Brother Damien as well. Keep him in your prayers. Sister Trina, her mom's, she got they found a lump, right? What was it? Yeah, they found a lump. So she gonna and keep Brother Jason's dad in your prayers. So Sister Trina, she gonna be gone. She'll be back in January. So as you can see, we had no choir today. But that ain't gonna happen. We're gonna have some singing from this point on. If I have to get up there and sing, we're gonna have a choir. So we don't want to have to get it to that point. So on that note, we're gonna have we're gonna do the Q&A at What time is it? 3:30? Huh? Oh yeah, Sister Priscilla. Keep her in your prayers because her son died. So pray for her. So the women's 4:30. Okay, the women's prayer meetings at 4:30, and we'll have question and answer at 5 o'clock. So we're gonna stand and face Jerusalem and close it. Oh, we got a baptism coming up too. Hold up. The date for the baptism, TBA. I will let you know. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Praise the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Praise the Lord God of Israel, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. In Jesus' name we pray. The King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Amen. Hallelujah! 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 In Jesus' name. Amen.
Everybody, put 'em up. Come on.
Know my
Hey.
identity.
Lift it up. Lift it up. Come
Search
on.
the scriptures, and you will see.
Let's go.
I know my. Yes, I know
Identity.
my identity.
Search the scriptures,
Yes, sir.
and you will see. I know my
I know my identity.
identity.
I know my identity.
Search the scriptures,
Yes, sir.
and you will see.
My name
Israel.
is Israel.
That's my
That's my
name.
name.
Israel. I know who I am. Israel. That's my name. Israel. I know who I am.
I know who I am.
Who I am.
I said I know, yes I know who I am.
Who I am.
I know who I am.
I know who I am.
Said I know, yes
I know who I am. Come on, everybody, let's lift it up. Come on, let's praise our Lord. Yeah,
I know. You know why? I got
let them know.
evidence.
Come on. I've got evidence. I've got confidence.
And if I keep his
If I
way,
keep his way,
I know
that I win. 'Cause I know who I am.
and God hasn't changed his
God
plan.
hasn't changed his way. My name is Israel.
My name is Israel. Yes, it is.
My name is Israel.
I got evidence.
I've got evidence.
confidence.
I've got confidence.
'Cause if I keep his
If I
way,
keep his way,
I know
that I win. 'Cause I know who I am.
and God hasn't changed one
God
plan.
hasn't changed his way. My name is Israel.
My name is Israel. Yes, it is. the scriptures, and you will see. I know my identity. I know my identity. Search the scriptures, and you will see. My name is Israel. That's my name.
Come on, everybody, let's lift it up. Come on, let's praise our Lord. Yeah,
You know what? I got
let them know. Come on.
I've got evidence. I've got confidence. And if I keep his way, I know that I will. 'Cause I know who I am. And God hasn't changed his plan. God hasn't changed his plan. My name is Israel. My name is Israel. Yes, it is. My name is Israel. I got evidence. I've got evidence. I've got confidence. 'Cause if I keep his way.